Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. Sugar season week 2 is just wrapping up, so that means that we are getting prepped for boil number 2. If I turn around here, I have got the reverse osmosis up and running for the first time today. For me, with the reverse osmosis, it's not really worth getting up and running until you have enough sap coming in to keep it up and running. With the flushes that you have to do when you turn it off, and keeping the filters, I'll do another video about that, but there's a little bit that goes into it. So until you have enough sap to get it up and running and keep it running, it's not really worth doing, at least for me. So up and running right now, got about 70 gallons of my sap from the last 3 days. And then this morning, my dad's friend John, he also enjoys sugaring, but he just cooks off of an open flame. So anytime he gets more sap than what he is able to handle, he brings me his extra. So this one here on the end, he brought me that this morning. That is right at about another 30 gallons. So we're going to be somewhere, I'll confirm this number at some point later in the video, but we're somewhere around 100 gallons of sap that we're sitting on here, pumping some water out of it right now. And then I need to head out into the sugar bush. I never collected yesterday's. Got home late last night, didn't get yesterday's collected, but I knew it was going to be real cold last night, back down into the 20s, and then today it's not really getting back out of the 20s. So going to collect this morning. Don't really expect any run to happen today, and if it does, it should be fine sitting in the buckets, whatever little bit it is. It's just going to freeze anyways. So going to head out, get that all collected, and then we'll kind of get a final number and see what we're going to get started running off of the arch here today. Back up here in the shop, RO's still chugging away. So got these 5 buckets here, that's what I just collected. So that's basically yesterday's sap. And then got these 3 here that Dad brought over. He is running 6 taps over at his house on just a couple of trees over there, something that him and my nephew Jasper are working on. Jasper is about to be 3, so he's been helping his chief over there. That's my dad's grandpa name. He's been helping Chief over at their house. He helped him tap, and then, you know, what help a 3-year-old is with carrying, 30, 40-pound buckets out of the woods. So, gonna start getting some syrup moved over, gonna start getting some sap moved over to the tray, the stuff that's been through the RO already. Gonna start getting that moved over to the tray. I knew before I even got started today that there was no shot at finishing. Back here by myself pretty much all morning. And we have plans for this afternoon, so just gonna get as much as I can onto the tray, get as much boiled off as I can, let the RO do a lot of the heavy lifting, and plan on finishing tomorrow. Today's Saturday. Plan on finishing tomorrow before the big football game. I think if I say the name of it, I can get demonetized, so I'm gonna skip out on saying that. But we are from Cincinnati, go Bengals. Pretty excited to watch that tomorrow, but should have plenty of time before that gets going to get everything finished off. So hopefully going to be able to get a bulk of the water either pulled out through the RO or boiled off today, and then just spend a couple of hours tomorrow finishing and bottling. So we're about an hour and a half in, and maybe a little closer to 2 hours now. See, we're starting to get some color, keeping the warming tray full. Got this little strainer, scooping out all the foam, all the minerals and stuff that comes to the top. Hey, brisket. All the minerals and stuff that comes to the top as the sap's boiling. Most of it shows up here where the fresh sap's coming in, but we do just scoop it up out of all of the trays, or all of the channels of the tray. The RO's still over here chugging along. See how much water we've pulled out so far. A little bit less than half of this barrel. And this barrel's, I think, 44 gallons, so probably around 20 gallons of water we pulled off. So that's 20 gallons of water we won't have to boil off. which is choice. Now let's take a second here, see where our sugar content is here early season. Let's see. I'm gonna say that's about, come on, focus for me, right at about 1.8. So not quite 2%. And then here we are coming out the other side of the RO, and we're at about 3.8. So we've doubled. So we probably were pretty close to 1.9. Now we're at about 3.8. Half the water out, no effort at all. Well guys, yesterday has turned into today. We got the boil going again. We'll show you here. We got quite a bit of sap RO'd. Got almost 40 gallons of water sitting here. This is our last little bit. We're sitting at about 4% in there. I'm just kind of pumping it out of that into this bucket to carry over to the tray. Remember, both of these were full yesterday. Got through all of that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's about 10 or 15 more gallons that's going to have to get sent over this direction and put onto the tray. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to take a few minutes here and I'm going to talk about our new vacuum filter. So this is the 9-inch vacuum filter from CDL Maple Supplies. I believe their stuff you usually get through a Roth sugar bush. So this will process right at about 3.6 gallons of syrup at a time. So it's just a stainless steel pot. Look down in there. Let's see, this is for the vacuum. That little 90 down there. That's for the vacuum here. So we have a couple of PVC connectors that made up to the little mini shop vac. I'll show you that here in a second. It has its own temperature gauge on it. You know, we're going to be at right about 180 when we bottle. We had to swap out this is the ball valve that it came with, but we put a different spigot here on the end of it. We actually took this off of my old finishing pot and put it on here. The one that it came with was too big for the neck of my bottles. So, but it's really simple to operate. This is the rubber seal right here that goes on top. And then similar to your regular filtering processes, there's a wool filter. And then on top of that goes a pre-filter. And then on top of this goes a diatomaceous earth slurry. We'll talk about that here in just a minute, right after this. And then this goes on top. You affix it with these clamps right here. It creates the seal. So those snap down, this creates the seal. And then when you hook the vacuum, it sucks the syrup through the wool filter, through the pre-filter, and through the diatomaceous earth that acts as a filter as well. And then when you draw off down here, no sugar sand, no niter, no nothing but perfectly clear, polished syrup. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to do a partial draw off. So we are syrup down here in this end, checked it with the hydrometer. We are there. We're not quite there here, and we're definitely not there here. You can distinctly see just by the color inside of the 3 channels of the tray. So this is actually the first time that we have done a draw off and not used it as like a quote-unquote batch pan. So it's actually we're gonna try to use the pan as designed for the first time. My plan is I'm just gonna watch the boil as it moves through the channels. You can see that the syrup has a distinctly different, like, boil quality, maybe you could call it. So we're gonna watch that as it moves through the tray, and we're probably just only gonna pull off about a quart. But as long as we don't empty this, if we leave a little bit in it, we can continue to use it and do several draw-offs, and it shouldn't matter. The filter should keep working as long as we keep it wet and we don't run it dry. going to keep an eye on, I'm starting to see it move a little bit. The other thing is, oh crap! The other thing is, with this being only 3 gallons, we want to make sure we don't overfill this because we don't ever want to suck syrup into our vacuum. Make sure your valves are closed. Well, after our first draw off, things got away from us a little bit. Dad and I were just standing back here talking, and next thing we knew, the whole tray started foaming. We started getting a little bit of smoke in here, and parts of the tray, the fire was just way too hot. We blew right past syrup, and we started turning to candy. So had a real caramely smell to it, a real caramely consistency to it. So we started we got the fire extinguished, we started splashing some water into it, we started drawing off as fast as we can, and we didn't ruin, at least what we drew off, we didn't ruin. It is super thick. It was about, I think this was about 70 bricks, so it is really high sugar content. We got past the, whatever it is, like 66, I think. I never remember that number. The 66 bricks that is actual syrup. So I am looking for some advice now. So this is what we have left in the tray. It's super dark, but it is not, it looks like it's syrup, but it definitely isn't. We had to splash so much water in here to try to get it to cool down. It's definitely sugary, but definitely isn't syrup. So does anybody see any reason, any of you veteran folks out there, does anybody have any ideas? Can I use it still? I think I plan to at this point. I plan on incorporating it back in. I said there's no off flavor to it. It doesn't taste burnt. It still tastes, very much mapley, very much, heading in that syrup direction. It's just super dark. So whatever I add this to, it is going to make it a darker batch, I would assume. But does anybody who knows more than me, is there any reason I shouldn't add this back in to my next batch? So if you have any thoughts on that, for the positive or for the negative, please let me know. We're going to have a big boil this weekend, over 100 gallons. Got the RO going on right now. I know John is going to bring me some sap again this weekend, so looking, maybe 150, maybe 200 gallons we're going to boil this weekend. So it will be another big old batch, and I'd hate to ruin it adding this back to it. I don't think that it will, but if there's something that I'm missing, definitely let me know about it. Would appreciate it. And then one last thing before we wrap this up, Chris, for you, you were asking about what's it like that gets left behind. And of course now it's gotten cold, but this is what's left behind. This is the last of what, come on, focus for me. This is the last of what was coming off. So this is like a little maple candy-ish. It definitely has tons of sugar sand, tons of niter. It's got the diatomaceous earth in it. So that's what it looked like after it got too hot. Well guys, this video definitely didn't end where I thought it was going to. This wasn't intended to be an advice video, but if you have it, please give it. Like I said, we're going to try to throw it back in unless I hear some thoughts on why I shouldn't. So if you have an opinion, definitely leave it down below. Hopefully you guys still enjoyed the video. If you did, think about hitting that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But until next time, y'all, we will see you.